So the world's on fire. The coronavirus seems to be taking over the entire world. Our stock markets are in chaos. Our hospitals are on the verge of being able to be overwhelmed. And everything seems like it's falling apart. The world around us is moving into a place that none of us have ever experienced before. And it's causing a lot of stress. I mean, in my inbox, I'd say that about half of the emails that I've received in the last 2 days have had some sort of coronavirus attached to them. And the world is going crazy. We feel like this virus is going to destroy everything. And it isn't destroying everything, but it is going to change a lot in our lives. It's going to transform how we interact with each other, how we work, how we take care of ourselves. And this is a lot about what I want to talk about today is how do we control the only thing that we have control over, which is ourselves. How do we do that? How do we not go into the chaos of everything else? How do we not let our minds run wild with worry, with stress, with anxiety, with even just going the other direction and getting depressed about the whole thing and feeling like you want to give up? Well, the first thing that you do is recognize that you are your own human being. We are so deeply interconnected, which this coronavirus easily shows how one virus strand can affect so many of us. We are deeply connected, and yet we are each our own individuals with our own individual free will. And so recognize within yourself that your mind has the power to either make things worse or make things better. It all begins with a thought. Every single action we take begins with a thought. Every single thing that we produce or accomplish begins with a thought. And so for us, it's becoming aware of our thoughts. Just yesterday, my daughter gave me a really good example of this. A few days ago, I had realized that she had colored with a crayon on the floor of our bathroom, just a little star, a red star. And last night, we asked her about that, and we said, "Did you do this?" And she repeatedly lied to us and said no. And we knew that she was lying to us. You know, the only other person in this house that would do it is 11, and she's not likely going to do it. And I know that myself and my husband didn't do it. So we knew it was Kebra, but she continued to lie about it. And we oftentimes do this. We dig our heels in on something that doesn't really mean that much. There's not a lot of power in it, but we still do it. It's like we make excuses for this lie that we're telling ourselves just to make our lives a little easier, or what we think is going to be easier. And eventually she fessed up and she cleaned it up and was able to move on. But as soon as she unburdened herself of the lie, she fell apart. She cried and was sad about it. And then she said, "Mama, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if my mind is telling me something good or if it's telling me something bad. I have two parts in me. One is telling me to do this and the other is telling me to do this. And one feels good and one feels bad, but I don't always know how to choose." And therein lies the crux of it, is that you always get to choose. You always have a choice within your mind and within your heart of to do something really great with your life or to do something that enables the fear, the anxiety, the stress. And when we do follow our heart's intuition, we follow the positive voice inside rather than the negative voice inside, we allow ourselves to open up to more possibilities. It may feel like disciplining our minds restricts us, but it actually allows so much more space because we are no longer trying to keep track of all the lies. We're not trying to keep track of all the maneuvers that our mind does to keep us going the direction that we're going. We open ourselves to possibilities. And so with this, when you are looking at your mind, watching the news, engaging in social media, being a part of this world that we're all living in, this chaotic world that we're living in right now, watch what your mind does. Does it indulge in the chaos, and does it then keep repeating and multiplying in your mind? If so, say hello to that. Say, "Oh, mind, wow, look at how wild you've just gotten. You've gone from me being perfectly healthy and free of any kind of illness to being in the hospital on my deathbed in a second in my head." And you don't want to be working on that. So just recognize it. Say, hi. Oh, look at my mind. You got so worried. Let's come back to this moment. Maybe take a deep breath in and let it out. There's so much that you can do to control your anxiety and your stress about this. You do not have to indulge in that chaotic behavior. And the other cool thing is that when you don't indulge in that chaotic behavior, but you instead become aware of it and switch to a positive path, you let go of the stress response. You start moving back from the reptilian brain to your conscious thinking brain, which is where you want to be. Don't let those subconscious patterns control you and determine your fate. You have free will. You can choose a new path at any moment in time. So recognize the power that the mind has and decide, do you want to live in fear or do you want to live free of fear and freedom? Do you want to live in freedom and love and connection? And when you see those things, man, life gets a whole lot less stressful and more ease-filled. And that's what I want for you, is to be able to move through this. And the other thing is when you're moving through life with ease and less stress, your immune system is automatically going to be healthier. You will fight off this illness or become maybe a carrier with no symptoms because you are embodied in who you really are, not in who your mind goes railing with. You are embodied in your spirit self rather than in your ego human mind self. All right, I hope this helps. Listen to your inner voices and determine if they're supporting you or if they aren't supporting you. If they aren't, recognize it, acknowledge it, love it, and then move to something better. Go back into, I am healthy right now. I am okay right now. Be yourself right now. Not the worried, stressed self, just your highest self. I hope all this helps. I'm Mindy Arbuckle. Feel free to leave a comment and look forward to being able to communicate with you and interact with you on this topic. So much love to you. Mwah.